Hello, welcome to Smash Hit Sports. We are doing our SEC preview this week. Harrison Vapnek is on the other side of the radio here. Harrison, you are an SEC guy. You're a Mizzou alum. Shout out Mizzou School of Journalism. Hell of a program they've got going on there. But the SEC is in a weird place because I think that they are not the top dog in the sport right now. And SEC fans can argue with me and they can say what it is, but the last two national title teams have come from the Big Ten. When you look at this year, the win totals, 3 teams have a 10.5 win total. None of them are in the SEC. I can't remember the last time the SEC didn't have a double-digit win total within their ranks. How is the health of the SEC right now?
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. The last two national champions come from the Big Ten, and both of those teams beat, was it non-SEC schools in the national championship? Ohio State just beat Notre Dame, an independent. Michigan beat Washington, who was in the Pac-12, is now in the Big Ten. So it's not just the SEC aren't winning the titles. They're not getting to the title game. And I think a big piece of it is something that you kind of just hit on, is no teams have 10.5 win total at that number. Why? Because the conference is better. The league is tougher. You add, Texas, you add Oklahoma. Even though Oklahoma had a down season last year, who still beat Alabama at home when Alabama was a top 10 team in the country. The conference is just tougher. There's no more divisions. The East was always easier than the West. Everybody agrees with that. No divisions. You're playing tougher competition, even though it's an 8-game conference, but every team is playing one game outside against a Power 5 team. And hint, most Power 5 teams are pretty good. The schedules are tougher. The talent this has been talked about a million times, the talent is more disparate. Georgia's third stringers are not third stringers on Georgia anymore. They're starters at Syracuse. They're starters at Stanford. They're starters at TCU. There's less depth, but I still think the best football players are in the SEC. They just haven't gotten the postseason results the last 2 years, and I think that could change this year.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest difference in the NIL transfer portal era. What has really changed is not the top-end talent. The top-end talent is still in the SEC. It will be in the SEC because, quite frankly, that's where the kids come from. But they don't have the guy who steps in behind the guy like they used to. That was the bread and butter of Alabama. They would have, they'd have a guy leave for the NFL draft. The junior that came in to take his spot was a 5-star guy who is an unreal talent who's had 2 years in the Alabama weight program. Now you don't get that as much, and it's impacting every school across the SEC. And I also think on the other side of things, every team in the SEC is dialed into college football, with the exception of maybe Kentucky because Big Blue Nation is crazy and college basketball will always be their number one. But every team is dialed in. Every team is spending money. Every team is taking the steps that they need to do in order to get their guys. I think it makes for better Saturdays just in general because we're not seeing teams run the table. But I do think it does hurt their shot to say, hey, we're the best conference in college football every year, which they still are.
No, absolutely, they are. And I think the best coaches, I think you'd agree with this, the best coaches in college football are probably all in the SEC outside of maybe like Marcus Freeman. I think the best coaches, top of my head, Kalen DeBoer, Kirby Smart, Steve Sarkisian, in no necessarily order.
I don't hate that. Let's get into it because I was going to ask you to rank the coaches in the SEC.
This has changed a lot in my mind over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I want your top. Well, a lot's changed in the SEC over the last couple of years, but I want your top 5 because in my mind, I think there's a clear. It's Kirby Smart at the top. I don't think anybody's going to argue that. He's been incredible, but where I think a lot of fun in the conversation happens is in those 2, 3, 4, 5 spots because, quite frankly, I think everybody's list looks different. But who are your top 5 coaches in the SEC right now?
Kirby's 1, but I don't think 2 is too far behind, and 2 beat Kirby last year. Kalen, I'll buy anyone's Kalen DeBoer stock. I will buy all of it. I had Kalen DeBoer after going into last season as the second best coach in college football, only behind Kirby. And I think I went on our friend Jake Circus's podcast the day after Alabama, Georgia, and I raised the question, is Kalen DeBoer the best coach in college football? Obviously, Bama's season went off the rails. They lost to some teams that Bama should not be losing to. Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, on the road against Tennessee. Those are losses. They typically didn't happen under Nick Saban. It was also his first year. There was also a lot of players he didn't really recruit. He signed with Washington signed from Washington pretty late in the cycle also. That was like the second or third week of January when he made that change. And, the hot portal guys had already kind of made their early decisions. And even then, the coincidence there is Bama actually didn't add a lot in the portal this year. They added a lot of high school kids, and they have some backups they like. But I'll buy anyone's Caitlin DeBoerstock. Third, easily, honestly pretty close to number 2, Steve Sarkisian, one of the best in-game coaches in the sport, always has his team ready to go. Number 4, I don't know if you're going to love this, but I'm going to go Brian Kelly.
I don't, but it's fine. Here's the thing. He's a really good coach. He's a really good coach. I hate it. He's a really good coach. The question is he good enough to win a national title? And I think the answer to that is no.
Well, nobody else in the SEC has that I have not named yet. It's honestly just Kirby at this point.
Yeah.
And so
the amount of coaches that have won national titles in college football right now is very slim.
It's
Dabo, it's Kirby, it's Day. That's it. Because it was
Mac Brown. Mac Brown retired.
Mac Brown retired.
Yeah.
So it's 3 guys. There are 3 coaches who have won a national championship.
Dabo, is it Dabo?
Coaching in college football right now.
Did you say Dabo?
Yeah, Dabo, Kirby, and Day. That's it.
Wow, crazy! That just shows how many Nick Saban won. That's the common denominator there. I'll have Brian Kelly at 4. Brian Kelly wins a lot of games. He's had Heisman Trophy winners. He's played for national championships. Last season wasn't great, but he develops programs to what they are. Number 5, I'll go Lane Kiffin. Shocker. Lane Kiffin's also a guy who hasn't won a national championship. Hasn't even been to the college football playoff, but he's a great coach. Ole Miss, he has elevated Ole Miss to a level the program has never reached, and I think they're continuing to get better. So I'll put him at number 5. Who would you say first person out? I'm not a big Josh Heupel guy. I used to be, not as much. And then after that,
Josh Heupel. I love it. I love Josh Heupel, but I love his scheme. The way that he attacks the deep ball over the middle is.
They run the ball so much more now than they used to.
I know. Was that because of the roster? Was that the scheme? I don't know. We'll find out this year because their offense is going to look a lot different. A lot different. Before we get into, we're going to do a tier talk. I want to know, out of all of the tidbits from SEC Media Day, there's guys talking. Eli Drinkwitz wants to go to a 30-team playoff, which I think is dumb. But he does. I don't think he actually does. But it makes for an interesting conversation piece. Was there anything that came out of SEC Media Days that you really stuck with you? Like, oh, shit, this team's building something or this team's doing something special?
There really wasn't a lot. I feel like the coaches are I think this is a Greg Sankey thing. They're a lot more buttoned up than they used to be. They're not as outlandish and open. The couple coaches and teams I did have my eye on were Tennessee and Texas A&M, who are I think they're entering both pretty pivotal seasons. Tennessee, you have the number 1 quarterback in the country. He probably wasn't very good last year, but Tennessee still got to the playoff. And then they get crushed at Ohio State. And now Nico leaves, and they have Joey Aguilar in now. They kind of switch places there. But Josh Heupel, the way he was taking it is that he thinks they're going to be better without Nico Yameva. And so, but maybe he is right. They have a favorable schedule in the conference. So I'm interested to see them. Then Texas A&M, who I don't know if it was a letdown last year, even though they were pretty close to the conference championship. You lose on the road at Auburn. Their offense just did nothing at the end of the year against Texas. And honestly, the biggest thing from Media Days was the fact that someone wasn't there, and that's A&M quarterback Marcel Reed. So how much trust do they have in him? He can't throw the ball. Marcel Reed cannot throw the ball, but he's a great runner. And I don't know who they have behind him. Connor Wegman's now at Houston. What is the future for Marcel Reed? And does Mike Elko trust Marcel Reed? Maybe you were just looking at it that it's all kind of hogwash. But is there something actually there? So A&M and Tennessee are the 2 teams I was really focused on what their coaches were saying. And Mike Elko seems to say he has confidence in Marcel, but we'll see the answer on the field, especially pretty early in the year when they play UTSA week 1, who's probably one of the 3 or 4 best G5 teams, and then on the road at Notre Dame 2 weeks later.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, especially when Jeff Traylor is coaching in the SEC next season.
What do you mean by that?
He's Arkansas. He's coming for that Arkansas job for sure, dude.
I can see it.
Sam Pittman's gone. Jeff Traylor's in. But before we get into our future predictions, let's build out this tier list because we got to talk about all these teams. So I have 4 tiers. Let me know if you think we should adjust them at all. I have title contenders, which is just quite simply, can they win the SEC? I have lurking, which is on the outside looking in that title contending race, but still, they could get there. Delusional, which is pretty much every SEC fan base who is not right outside the top tier, and then ass. And I have a hunch that we're going to know very quickly who is in the ass tier. So
Are we going top to bottom or bottom to top?
we can do whatever we want. We can go alphabetical order. We can do by win total. It does not matter to me, Harrison.
Let's go by team. Let's go team by win total.
Okay, let's go team by win total.
So we'll kind of go best to worst projected.
Yep, and starting at the top of that win total, we have, let me order it here. Gotta work the spreadsheet magic, because I keep everything in spreadsheets. That's my little nerd engineering brain.
There you go.
There are 3 teams with a 9.5 win total.
Okay.
There is Texas, which nobody should be surprised by. There's Georgia, who nobody should be surprised by, and Alabama, which I think is slightly surprising, but all honesty, shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. I think people were so overblown about Alabama's season last year. They still went 9-3. Like that.
They're 1 or 2 spots away from the college football playoff.
Absolutely. So, who do you want to start with?
Let's start with Texas.
Let's do it.
Texas fight. Title contender, right?
Yeah. I think the discussion is more, is Arch Manning good enough to compete for a national title? Because the roster around him is excellent. The defense is great. They bring a ton of guys back. Their returning production is absolutely outstanding. They are actually, it's not as good as I thought it was. They only have 45% returning production.
That's still pretty good. I'd say it's very good for an SEC school.
Yeah, it's not bad. And I think the biggest thing though is, what is Arch Manning? Because we saw him in 2 games last year, but it's 2 games of somewhat meaningful action, but not against great teams. It was Mississippi State, and I can't remember that. Was it UTSA?
Louisiana Monroe.
Louisiana Monroe. And I have faith in the kid. I'm not going to pick him to win the Heisman. I think him being the favorite to win the Heisman is a little delusional. Like if it was Arch Smith, he would not be the favorite to win the Heisman. However, he's good enough that I think Texas can compete for a national title.
Cody, I'm picking Arch Manning to win the Heisman.
You son of a bitch.
I'm doing it.
Is it the media thing, or is he actually that good?
Listen to me. Listen. Think about in your lifetime. Any sport, name the first people that come to your head of the biggest star college athletes, household names, any sport, and who are some that come to mind pretty quickly?
I mean, it's Jimmer Fredette. It's Johnny Manziel. It's Lamar Jackson. It's Reggie Bush. It's Manti Te'o, which is me being incredibly biased. But like it's Tim Tebow, right? Like it is the biggest figures.
Zion was the guys I wrote down. Zion Williamson, Tim Tebow, Johnny Football, Reggie Bush, Caitlin Clark. Yeah. All of those players won the National Player of the Year. The guys that we just mentioned won the Heisman. Zion was the Naismith Award winner. Caitlin Clark was the best. Sometimes the right answer is the simplest one. Arch Manning doesn't need to throw for 5,000 yards and 70 touchdowns, whatever Joe Burrow did during 2019. If Arch Manning has a good enough season and Texas wins a lot of games, he's going to win the Heisman Trophy no matter what. He is the biggest brand name we've had in college football in a decade, since Johnny Manziel. Everybody and their mother knows who Arch Manning is. You would pull any very casual college football fan, and you see Arch Manning on the TV, people are going to watch. And that just he just has this elevated bias toward him. And if he plays well, it's going to confirm people's bias. It's going to confirm my bias. I am very high on Arch Manning. I honestly, what I love more about Arch Manning is the people around him. Like Ryan Wingo might be the third best receiver in his class behind 2 guys who are literally on the college football 25 cover after playing a combined 25 games last year. DeAndre Moore is still there. Emmett Mosley is a very good receiver. They're loaded at running back with C.J. Baxter coming back from injury. Their defense is also very Texas is going to win a lot of games. They are my national championship pick. Arch Manning is my Heisman pick, and I guarantee I'd be surprised if they don't beat Ohio State week 1 at the shoe.
First off, I love the conviction. I also have them beating Ohio State week 1. I also have them as my number 1 team in the country. I don't have them winning the title because sometimes the best team doesn't win the title every year.
Of course, no, absolutely.
They're the most talented roster, top to bottom.
Yep.
Keeping it moving. Let's do the Georgia Bulldogs because the biggest change in this Georgia team is who they lost. And it's Carson Beck going to Miami, transferring out. How much of a loss is that? I'm not sure. And I'm interested to see what Gunnar Stockton looks like in a full range of action. The Georgia Bulldogs, how good is the ceiling for this team? Because I don't know if it's national title good. I think it's SEC good. They could win the SEC, but I'm not sure that it's national title good.
I'm putting them in title contenders, but I agree with the red flags that you've talked about. Carson Beck I thought was good last year. Georgia also by far led the nation in drops. It's a much improved receiving core. They were also literally for the first time in the history of Georgia football in the SEC, they were the worst rushing team in the league. I don't know how good Gunnar Stockton is. He wasn't extremely good. He was pretty bad in the playoff game against Notre Dame, and even though they won the game, I don't think he was that great against Texas. So I think the run game is going to be better. The defense is talented but young. Like they only have like 2 seniors projected to start for them. So there might be some growing pains there, but none of us thought Stetson Bennett was going to be this high-level quarterback, and he won 2 national championships. So I think you still have to keep Georgia in the title contenders, but I know there is a lot of reason to worry about Gunnar Stockton.
Gunnar Stockton is – we've seen a lot of really talented SEC quarterbacks over the last 5 years. And I think it's kind of spoiled us a little bit because there have been a lot of quarterbacks who have won national titles at SEC schools that haven't been all-stars. And this isn't even a knock on Gunnar Stockton. He could be good enough to win a national title. But, like, I don't think you need, like, Jake Coker won a national title.
For example.
Right? Like, Gunnar Stockton doesn't have to be a world beater. He doesn't have to be Arch Manning or Johnny Manziel or whatever. He just needs to be good enough to let Georgia do what it's good at, and that is beating you physically at the line of scrimmage every single snap of the football.
There was a couple times in the last 2 years that Georgia was down in the fourth quarter, and Carson Beck made some big throws to win some games. There's also some times he went down the field and didn't win the game, like the Bama game last year, but that was what it was. They took a lead at one point. I don't know if Gunnar Stockton can do that. That is the only thing I've paused. Like 2 minutes left, down by 5, need to go 70 yards. Can Gunnar Stockton do it? We'll find out. I'm not sure. I have serious doubt, but I do think Georgia's a playoff team, and if they're in the playoff and you're Kirby Smart and you got a talented roster, they have a chance to win the title. So you have to keep them there by default.
Yep, I agree 100%. Alabama is an interesting conversation, and they made one of my favorite additions that any team has made in the offseason so far, and that is bringing in offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb. I think that is such a huge reunion with Kalen DeBoer. Their offense and their quarterback play wasn't Jalen Milroe's talented, unbelievably talented, but he's not what Kalen DeBoer has had in a quarterback in his time at Washington. Now you get Ty Simpson, and I think there's a full chance.
We think we get Ty Simpson.
We think we get Ty Simpson. I think there's a chance that whoever the starting quarterback is at Alabama this season could throw between 3,500 and 4,000 yards. And we're right back at that conversation of, is Alabama still one of the best teams in college football?
100% agree. Title contender. You literally read off my notes. Like, are they actually going to be better without Milton? Because he was an electric runner. He made a lot of explosive plays, but super inconsistent, pretty turnover prone. Didn't really deliver in the biggest spots last year outside of the Georgia game. Is it going to be Ty Simpson? Is it going to be Austin Mack, who is kind of similar to Michael Penix? Or is it going to be Keelan Russell, who's a true freshman, but was the number 1 quarterback in the nation going into this year's class and was the Gatorade Player of the Year? But I don't really think it matters that much because if the offense is flowing with Ryan Grubb and Keelan DeBoer cooked up at Washington and their spots before that, and they got a receiving core like Ryan Williams and Bernard and Isaiah Horton, they're going to be good. And then defense returns so much. And I like Kane Womack a lot. And how many bad games did the Bama defense play last year? Like 1? The Vandy game, that was it. Yep. Bama's defense was very good last year, and they return a lot. Like Bama's absolutely a title contender. I have them in the college football playoff, and I think there's a lot of really good reason to be excited about them.
Yeah, they returned 65% of their, or 63% of their team production from last year, which is very uncharacteristic for Alabama because they have so much NFL turnover that they bring
no one in the portal on defense either. No portal. Those are all their guys.
Gotta love it. The next tier of teams are all at 8.5 wins, and I think that they are appropriately slotted just in the tier below. It's LSU, it's Tennessee, and it's Ole Miss. And when we were talking about your top 5 coaches in college football, these guys, they're either in that top 5, they're right on the edge of that top 5. I think it makes a lot of sense where they're at. 8.5 wins, though, I don't know if I see it for some of these teams here.
Who do you want to start with?
Let's start with Tennessee, because they are the big offseason story with, Nico Iamaleava headed to UCLA. They bring in Joey Aguilar, who was from App State, transferred to UCLA, then transferred out of UCLA to Tennessee, basically doing a quarterback swap. I'm very interested to see what this Tennessee team looks like, because they are young. This is a very, very young roster, and I'm not 100% sure that this is a Tennessee team that is ready to put the pedal to the floorboard. I think it might be a year where they build a little bit.
Yeah, I think this is the perfect team for lurking. Like I 100% agree with the fact that they're like a good team, a very talented team. They're not a national championship team. They might be worse at quarterback. We'll see how good Joey Aguilar is. Deshaun Bishop, who's the redshirt sophomore running back who they like a lot. The offensive line still pretty good. They lose receivers. Like Squirrel White wasn't really productive last year. I thought he was going to be really good. Just wasn't. Like Mike Matthews, Chris Brazil, Braylon Staley are their top receivers. And they have a couple of freshmen coming in that were pretty high recruits. They need these receivers to play better. But how much are they going to spread it out a little more? Like I don't love Tennessee, but I mean they're too proven to put in the delusional. They won the Orange Bowl in 2022. They won 9 games in 2023. And then 2024, they're in the college football playoff. They win 10 games. So like I think you have to put in lurking, but I think they're like near the bottom of this group. I don't love Tennessee, but respect puts them in this tier.
Yeah, and I think lurking is a perfect fit for them. Let's do Ole Miss, because this is a team that I love. Ole Miss football and the brand of football that they play. It's fast, it's fun, it's electric. They lose some games that they just shouldn't lose, which I think is what makes college football so much fun. That Kentucky loss last year, absolutely inexcusable. Like the Florida one, I kind of understand. The Kentucky loss might be the worst loss any team took in college football last year because of what it did to Ole Miss's playoff chances. But that being said, Austin Simmons, is he the guy? Like after Jackson Dart?
I don't know anything about Austin Simmons. We have no idea if he's going to be good or not.
Like it's one of those things where you see guys transfer up, and typically it's not at the quarterback position, and you get a little more cushion, right? Like if a wide receiver transfers up from a lower level school, it's like, oh, well, he doesn't have to be the entire offense. That's not the case at the quarterback position. You are the offense. You are the engine, especially in Lane Kiffin's offense. Now, I think it's interesting because we haven't seen Lane work with a quarterback like Austin Simmons. Austin Simmons is incredibly mobile. Like I think it's going to be dynamic, but the question is how good is it? Is it good enough to be Ole Miss contending for a conference title would be the greatest football season in the history of that university.
I'd honestly, this may be a hot take. I might put Ole Miss at delusional. It's
really?
Just a lot of misfit transfers. It's something they've done in the past. I don't love the guys they got. Like Sage Ryan, who they got at safety from LSU. He sucks. He's bad. Deshaun Womack, who's like supposed to be their starting defensive end. He came from LSU. He's also like bad. And there's the receivers, Dejon's dribbling from Wazoo has been in college football like forever. He's fine. Harrison Walls couldn't get targets at Penn State. I don't know if you disagree, but
that Penn State receiver room was butt.
Just a lot. There's a reason Penn State revamped their entire receiver room, and Ole Miss just gets like their scraps. Like I just don't think Ole Miss's roster makes a lot of sense, and the schedule's a little favorable. They have to go to Georgia, they go to Oklahoma, they play LSU at home. Like even non-con, like Tulane at home is tough. Like I don't think they'll lose to Wazoo, but like you're playing the Egg Bowl on the road in Starkville. Like I think Ole Miss is a lot closer to delusional than they are for like being in the race to Atlanta.
I love it. Feed me that. And I have an Ole Miss fan who I know is going to watch this, and she's going to be in my ass about this. But hey, we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to hear her thoughts.
I don't have. There's not a lot of reason to be confident outside of like they've been good the last couple of years, but like they didn't even make the playoff last year, and they had a lot of things go right for them. They played Georgia in a freaking monsoon.
Yep.
They got so lucky how the weather. Georgia couldn't throw the ball in that game. Georgia receivers couldn't catch the ball in nice weather. You think they were going to catch the ball in like torrential downpour?
That's a great point. That's a great point. God damn it, Harrison.
And there were other little things that went just so well for them last year that just shouldn't have, except for the LSU game, which they kind of sold.
Yeah, so let's talk LSU. This is, I think LSU, I love Garrett Nussmeier. I think he's absolutely incredible. I love what he does. I think offensively, they have some great weapons. Like they've got a good tight end, the offensive line. Obviously, they lost Will Campbell, but they're bringing a lot of that offensive line back, a lot of continuity there. The defense, I think, is going to be improved. I like what Blake Baker did last year. I think it's an improvement on what the LSU defense typically has been. And second year under that system, I think it should improve a little bit. But their head coach is Brian Kelly. I don't know what to do here, Harrison. Yeah, you have to guide me because if it was me, I would probably keep him in lurking. I just can't.
I think you have to do the same thing with Tennessee, but like kind of like the opposite. They don't have the respect of a title contender yet. Mm-hmm. Just like how Tennessee had the respect that we couldn't put them in delusional yet. LSU, they don't have the respect of it. I'm contradicting myself. LSU can win the national championship. I think you and I agree that if things go right for this team, they absolutely have the talent to win the national championship.
The ceiling is there.
At their ceiling.
Yes.
But the respect that they have for us, and I mean, like, I love LSU, so it's not that, like, my personal disrespect, but like what they have proven on the field does not show that they're a title contender yet. They need to. It's one of those things you won't believe it until you see it. The defense should be better than what it has been the last 2 years. 2 years ago, the defense was a freaking disaster. But Garrett Nussmeier can be the best quarterback in college football. Do they have the best portal haul of any team in college football? Yes.
Yep.
Marion Brown, Nick Anderson, Sharp, the tight end from Oklahoma. Like, they killed it in the portal. They have 3 really talented young running backs. Caden Durham was one of the best as a true freshman last year. LSU also
he could be the best running back in the conference.
He's
Caden Durham.
Freaking good. Offensive line wasn't even very good last year. They had two NFL guys. So I think on the higher end of lurking, but like they need to prove it. They need to get back to Atlanta. Can they? If they upset Clemson week 1 on the road, we'll talk. But I think lurking is the spot for them.
The fact that LSU has put themselves in a position to potentially lose 6 consecutive season openers is
crazy.
Wild.
It's the next year Clemson goes 2. You see the Brian Kelly? Oh, you probably didn't see it. This was like a local Rotary Club meeting today. Brian Kelly was talking. He was talking about like season tickets and stuff, and talking about the Clemson game. He said he called it like the mini Tiger, the mini Death Valley, or the I forget what the exact words. It was something along that. And the first thing I saw was like, oh my god, the Clemson fans are going to eat this up.
Oh yeah. That's
Clemson fans are not going to like it. The inferior. I think it was the inferior Death Valley.
Ooh.
I don't know if you've been to Clemson, South Carolina. I don't think those people are going to like that very much.
Yeah, that's some strong words.
Yeah.
Looking at the next group, there are 5 teams with a win total at 7.5. Some of them are because they play a absolute death gauntlet of a schedule, and some of them are because I don't think the teams are really that good. It is Auburn, Florida, Missouri, South Carolina, and Texas A&M. Harrison, I think we would do a disservice to not talk about your Missouri Tigers first.
We can talk about them first.
Let's do it. Bo Prabula. I am so excited to see what he is offensively because I have no idea. I truly don't. We've only seen him as a gadget guy at Penn State. We know he can run. How much can he throw? I don't know the answer to that. I really don't.
Drinkwitz said it at Media Days. He said this before, that like he thinks this is the best Mizzou team since he's been there. You know what I call that, Cody?
What?
Delusional.
That
there's no way. There's a quarterback who has never started a game before. We don't know if Bo Prabula is good. he could be terrible. He could be like, I don't even know. Like Tate Martell. You know what Tate Martell did at Ohio State? He was a Wildcat backup who they put in occasionally. They were, and it's hard. And then, he was playing wide receiver by the end of his Miami tenure.
It's just, I like, the thing is I like what Missouri has been and built the last couple of years for being the kind of the redheaded stepchild of the SEC, and like you're too Midwest for the SEC, but you're too Southern for the Big 12. And I think that Drink has a point in saying that like there is a lot of talent on the roster, but it's not a lot of proven talent. And when you go from a guy like Brady Cook, who's been there for a while, and you have not only a transition in quarterback, but a transition in what your offensive style is going to be, because it's not the same type of quarterback, there's just so many question marks. And
you go on.
Yeah, to say it's the best team. I mean, Missouri's had some really good seasons as of
2 years ago. They were like in one of the best teams in the country, I thought.
Yeah, to put that 10 wins. So to put them
11,
7.5 win total, for him to say it's the best team under him, so that you're saying they're a 10-win team, they're going to outperform their win total by 2.5 games. Crazy.
No. I think that Ahmad Hardy's a very good running back. He was a great transfer from UL Monroe. Cam Coleman, they got a receiver, not Cam Coleman, Kevin Coleman from where is he? State. He's good. He's not Luther Burden. Luther Burden bailed out that team so many times over the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. It is impossible to think that Kevin Coleman, I'm gonna do that so many times. He's gonna do the same. And the defense should be good. I'll give him that. But it's hard.
We have to talk about Cam Coleman now. Let's talk about Auburn. Cam Coleman, special talent, dude. You were saying Wingo might be the third best wide receiver in that class. Cam Coleman's got something to say about that. But I am excited to see. I think this is a make or break year for Auburn and Hugh Freeze, because they've had some really good recruiting classes and they've started to put together some of the pieces. Now Hugh Freeze goes out and gets, I don't know what Jackson Arnold is, but I know he's not Peyton Thorne. So he's at least got that going for him. I'm excited for Auburn, but it's a nervous excitement, because it could be good and it could be really bad.
A team that has Jackson Arnold at quarterback with high aspirations. You know what I call that? Delusional. Put him on, dude.
Put him on the board.
I do not like Jackson Arnold one bit. I think he is bad. I think Jackson Arnold, I was shocked he got another SEC job. I thought Auburn was going to do so much better. I'm like, Auburn has all these young receivers. I kind of like their coaching staff. I'm like, if they just get the quarterback right, they're going to be really good. And then they settle for the guy on Oklahoma who was benched, for a guy who literally cannot throw the football, and Michael Hawkins.
Yeah,
which we'll talk about later.
It's bad. But the defense is good. They should be able to run the ball.
I like Austin.
It's just, it's.
They also got Ashton Daniels from Stanford, who I kind of like. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not great, but like. And then Eric Singleton, who was at Georgia Tech last year, is the other. Like, the receivers are really good, but I just don't think a quarterback with a team quarterback like Jackson Arnold can be taken any seriously. If Auburn had who is a 75% quarterback, I'm not asking for.
That's a great question.
I don't know. I'm not asking for Arch Manning. I'm not asking for there's not a lot of good quarterbacks these days.
The transfer portal was not super kind. What about, let's do this. Another SEC team, another team that went out and got a transfer quarterback. What if they had John Mateer?
I don't like John Mateer.
You don't like John Mateer?
No.
God damn it, dude. He's so swaggy, though.
No, dude, he's so bad. Not so bad. If they had, what would your expectations be for Auburn if they got Carson Beck?
Ooh.
Dude, I'd be like, man, this team could win the title. If Auburn had Carson Beck, they'd have a chance to win the national title. At least get to the SEC title game.
I think their win total would be 8.5, 9.
Yeah, I think it would be closer to the top 3. They'd be a lot closer to Bama than they are to South Carolina.
Yeah, damn. I don't hate that. That's a good concept.
I just think they got the wrong quarterback for the right roster. This is a really good roster, but maybe Arnold will be better. Maybe he'll surprise people. Yeah, it would take a lot to surprise me for him.
Yeah. So speaking of South Carolina, I don't think I've ever seen a fan base defend a quarterback's Heisman before he's ever won it. Because that is what South Carolina fans are doing with Lenora Sellers. Seeing anybody put out a list where Lenora Sellers is not the number one quarterback in the SEC or one of the best quarterbacks in college football, those fans will light your ass on fire. And I respect the hell out of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of delusional. It's kind of delusional.
This question all comes down to, do you think the defense will be good? How good will their defense be is the entire answer. If their defense is as good as it was last year, they're lurking. But to think that after all they lost and how good they were last year, that they're going to be as good, there's one word for that, Cody. Delusional. They're If South Carolina thinks they can catch the energy they had last year, they're delusional. Lenora Sellers as the first overall pick. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Have you seen this? That's delusional.
Crazy.
Do not like it. I think they have good receivers in Marzeo Bennett and Nick Harbor I like a lot, and the offensive line is fine.
Dylan Stewart's going to have a lot of fun on Saturdays. He's going to wreck some people's days, but yeah, there's
outside of that on the defense, there's not a lot that I get excited about. Yeah. And the schedule's really tough too. Like at LSU, at Mizzou, at Ole Miss, home at Alabama, at Texas A&M, home against Clemson. Like they're not gonna. They got I don't say lucky to win 9 games last year because like they probably could have won the Bama game if things go a little differently. But like I think last year was probably like the ceiling of like what this team is capable of.
Yeah, and there was too like the LSU game that they got kind of robbed there. But like it's one of those
that was
where
really funny.
I need to see South Carolina win some of those games before I want to put them in the lurking tier. Because those are the types of games that you have to win to
they beat a bad Clemson team.
Titles. Yeah.
They beat a bad Clemson team last year.
Yep. Another team that's 7.5 win total, the Florida Gators. In my opinion, I think they have easily the most difficult schedule in college football. I don't think it's close. I love what they're doing. I like DJ Lagway. I think he's incredible. His mechanics, I think, could use some polishing. But in terms of raw talent, the guy has it in spades. I'm not a huge Billy Napier guy, but God damn it, he kind of defied the odds last year. Their win total 7.5.
Even if he still has a job.
Yeah, he was pre-fired going into last season. Their win total was 4.5 last year. They went 9-3, so they doubled their win total.
They were 9-3. Florida didn't go 9-3 last year.
Well, 8 or whatever. 8-4?
8-5? I was going to say, there's no way they went. I don't think they won 9 games last year.
Let me Google it. Google's never lied, except for when it did lie to me just now earlier. 8-5. I apologize. 8-5. Okay. That is 9-3. 9-3 wouldn't even make sense because that's not 13 games.
Yeah.
So
who they win the bowl? Who they beat in the bowl game?
They beat Florida schedule. Well, yeah, I don't love Billy Napier, but it is what it is. Yeah, they went 8-5. They beat the piss out of Tulane in the Gasparilla Bowl.
That was who it was. Tulane had nobody play left.
Yeah.
Okay. The schedule's tough, but I think like lurking. I think if they hit their ceiling and things go right, I think they're good. I saw somebody tweet. It was College Football Live. They said, this is their words, not mine. Florida just won the national championship in basketball, had a player arrested this week, and has a dual threat quarterback who talks about Jesus. The Gators might be back.
Oh, shit. I love it. I love it. Clip that, buddy. Oh, man. Yeah, but like, here's the thing. Let's say, hypothetically, Florida goes 8-4, right? That hits their win total.
Really good season.
But they could go 8-4. And they will have to have wins against one of the following teams, okay? At LSU, at Miami, Texas, at Texas A&M, Georgia, Tennessee, at Ole Miss. Like they would have to beat 2 of those teams at a minimum.
And you didn't even mention like home against Tennessee. They own Tennessee at home. They've beaten Tennessee they've lost to Tennessee 3 times at home since like World War II.
That's fair.
They were catching 7.5 points in that game. Last time, by the way, that was a money line. That was great.
And they hammer.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Plus 245.
Florida's going to have to beat some really some college football playoff caliber teams to make it to 8-4, and I still think that they could do it.
But if they got 9 wins, they're going to be in the playoff. Because they will probably have the wins. A couple of those wins will go their way. So yeah, the Gators are lurking. They have a higher ceiling than any team in the tier below them, except for Auburn. If Jackson Arnold just gains superpowers.
I love that. Texas A&M, the last one of the 7.5 win total. I love Mike Elko, and I'll start by saying that. I'm not a Marcel Reed guy, dude, and from what you've said, I don't know if he is either.
What gives anybody confidence in Marcel Reed? If you're not sure the head coach has confidence in Marcel Reed, why should anybody?
Yep.
I do not like this team at all. They're delusional. They're not ass. Because they're fine.
Yeah, but and I do think they'll win 7 to 8 games.
Are they going to be UTSA week 1?
Yeah. I think Mike Elko's a good enough coach. I don't know, but they got the look ahead, right? They got
2 weeks later, Notre Dame. They have a sandwich game against Utah State.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay.
A&M plays at Notre Dame, at LSU, at Mizzou, at Texas. Not even mention at Arkansas, which I think that game's in neutral. They play that game
that's
in
the
Dallas.
Jerry World game or whatever.
So those are very difficult. There's no easy road game on the schedule. At Notre Dame, Notre Dame was in the title game last year. There's just a quarterback you do not trust at all. Receivers Casey Concepcion comes from NC State. He's pretty good. Mario Craver was a true freshman, Miss State last year. He's very good. Le'Veon Moss and Ruben Owens, that running back duo is back. The defense, you lose Shamar Stewart to we think the NFL. Kobe Williams is their middle linebacker. He's one of the best, but it's just I don't really love A&M. A&M, this might be a little old for you or a little young for you, but they're like the Dr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb. You familiar with him?
Yep. I know Doofenshmirtz.
They are the Dr. Doofenshmirtz of college football. They talk about a big game. They have this big new invention that they're gonna surprise everyone with, and then it totally flops every single time. I'm
too old to know who Dr. Doofenshmirtz is kind of fucked up. I'll say it.
That's
kind of fucked up.
My bad.
I know I have a kid now, but that hasn't changed anything, Harrison.
Do you agree with the comp?
Yeah, no, that is a good comp though. They're just kind of goofy and wacky every year, and they kind of end up right around the same thing. It's like a villain in any cartoon that just keeps doing the same thing.
They are just a cartoon villain team where it's the Texas, Georgia, and Bama. Even though they've beaten those teams in the past, once, those teams just they're not on the same level. We saw that in Texas A&M last year. Are those two playing on Thanksgiving this year? Oh no, they're playing on Friday.
Yeah,
whatever. That's fine.
I like it.
We'll take it.
Only other team with bowl aspirations in terms of their win total, Oklahoma is at 6.5. I want to put them at delusional because I like Mateer and I like Jay Knott, and I think that they are a better team than what a lot of people give them credit for. People talk about Bama's loss to Oklahoma as if Alabama lost to Appalachian State.
Yep.
Oklahoma wasn't the best team last season.
They were so injured last year.
They were beat the fuck.
If I were a student enrolled at Oklahoma, they probably would have asked for me to walk on. That's how light they were. They had guys looking like me playing for them.
Yeah, so I want to put them in delusional. They're not lurking yet, and I don't know if they will be under Brent Venables, but damn it, they're not ass. And
I think they could have a good season. They're not ass, but they're also not a title contender. But that's not an easy game for anybody.
No.
Home or away. When Oklahoma comes to the schedule, that's a tough game. It doesn't matter if you're Texas, who that's their biggest rival, or if you're a bottom team. Who's the worst team Oklahoma plays this year?
They play some bad teams.
Well, I'm saying more in the SEC level. I know that they play.
On the SEC, they get Auburn at home. That's gonna be they could beat Michigan at home.
Exactly.
I think they
will. Michigan won the title 2 years ago. Michigan might be very good this year. That's a tough game for Michigan. But that's also a game that Auburn or I know we just went through them, but Mizzou, like that's a game both those teams think they'll win. Even like at Temple, like Temple's like dreadful, but like Temple's like, oh, we can beat these guys. That one might be a little too far. But
Yeah.
Oklahoma can truly win or lose any game on their schedule except for like one or two, including the non-cons.
I agree, and I love it. The last 4 teams here. So Arkansas is a win total of 5.5. Kentucky and Vanderbilt 4.5, despite Vanderbilt having a pretty historic season last year, and Mississippi State at 3.5. Harrison,
there's different expectations. Like I don't hesitate. I have no hesitation with Kentucky, Miss State, and Arkansas all in ass. Vandy's ass, but like they're a little different. Like their expectation is not the same. Like last season was truly like the best season of Vanderbilt football since like what James Franklin did in 2013. It was remarkable what they did last year, but they're just not as good as the other teams. But they're not ass. Like I wish you could just like add a tier from like between delusional ass and just call it Vanderbilt.
Perfect. We could do that. We can absolutely do that.
Oh, that's wow.
Add a row above. We're going to make it... What color should the Vanderbilt tier be? Pink?
Sure.
Nope.
Oh,
Ass is now.
Yeah.
This is now Vanderbilt. Beautiful. See, that's the beauty of this show, Harrison, is that we can just change things, We're not tied to anything.
Vanderbilt's... I think they're similar to Oklahoma in a sense where it's like they can win or lose any game, but like they're not as talented as Oklahoma. Oklahoma has guys who play in the NFL. Vanderbilt is just like fun and frisky.
Now that we say this, I kind of want to move Oklahoma to the Vanderbilt tier.
Yes, I 100% agree.
Perfect.
But keep it cold, Vanderbilt.
Yes.
These two, they can win or lose any game. I think Oklahoma, you know what? Oklahoma is also fun and frisky because I don't think John Mateer is very good, but like he's like watered down Cam Ward.
He could have a game that is good enough to beat any team on the schedule.
If I wake up on a Sunday and headline John Mateer throws for 430 yards as Oklahoma beats Tennessee, no one will be surprised.
Yeah.
Also, Mateer throws 5 picks in week 2 loss to Michigan. No one's surprised.
Yep.
And the Vanderbilt is fun. Like Vanderbilt's schedule, like home against Charleston Southern, they can win that game. At Virginia Tech, probably tough, winnable game. They can beat South Carolina on the road. Georgia State, Utah State, they should win those games. I don't think they're going to beat Bama, but like when LSU, Mizzou, and Auburn all go there in October, those are tough games for all 3 of those teams.
Yeah.
Who are all above them. I don't know.
You can't sleepwalk into it. That's for damn sure.
You could absolutely cannot sleepwalk into Vanderbilt because of the unique offense that they run and what they've already proven. The teams at the bottom, Mississippi State took some steps last year, but they're probably as big steps as like your child takes.
Yeah.
Your kid's not walking? I'm way off.
She's 2.5 months, so can't even hold her head up yet.
When she eventually starts walking within the next year, those are like the misstated steps from last year.
Yeah, I like Jeff Lebby and I like the hire. I think that place with losing Mike Leach, who was like the identity of that program, is just so tough. So I love this.
It's a lot to ask for, and then I don't really have like Kentucky thoughts. Like they're shocking. Once a year, Kentucky Twitter is on like civil war between football and basketball. So we're at that time of year right now. And then Arkansas, Sam Pittman's last year. I like Taylor Green. They're frisky. I think they can give Notre Dame a big test at home.
Oh yeah.
They also probably will lose their road game to Memphis this year. So.
Yep.
I really like this tier, especially the one we added.
Yeah, I think this is perfection. All right. So enough of the tier talk. I loved it. I think it was great. But we have to get into a couple of SEC superlatives, and we have to do gambling because obviously, somebody's got to pay the bills. So let's run an ad read real quick. If you are a sports bettor and you are betting on any college football game all season long or NFL or whatever, there are a lot of ways to lose money and there are a lot of ways to make money gambling. One way to save your ass is to sign up with the best deals that you can find. Bookies.com finds the best sign-up deals in your state so you're not missing out on whatever free bonus bucks or whatever. So go to bookies.com/smash to find the best sign-up deals for any sports book in your state. I don't give a shit if it's FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, whatever. Find the best deals, save the most money. That is, I mean, it's a surefire way to be a better gambler because you got to shop around. Some of these lines are crazy on these teams, Harrison. I mean, it's nuts.
Whole world.
I know.
Those casinos don't build themselves, Cody.
No, they do not. So let's do a little some superlatives, and then we'll end with gambling. So some superlatives. Who in the SEC has the most to lose this season?
Most to lose, I would say, are the Ole Miss Rebels.
Ooh. Why?
They've built a high expectation for themselves. I think if they flop, things could go sideways, and Lane Kiffin could even leave. Lane Kiffin, ex-head coach for the USC Trojans.
That would be just pure pandemonium, and quite frankly, I'm all for it. College football needs that. Which coach is on the hottest seat in the SEC?
It's complicated because I think it should be Mark Stoops, but I don't think they'd want to pay up. It's probably still Billy Napier. Who am I kidding? It's Brent Venables. Brent Venables is on the hottest seat in the country right now.
Wow. I don't know about hottest seat in the country is a bold take, but I don't hate the take. It's bold, but I don't hate it.
They haven't gone anywhere in 3 years.
That's fair. I wonder what his buy. Did he sign to a 10-year deal when they initially?
I thought it was Brian Kelly who signed it.
Yeah, that is right.
It was probably a big deal. Like the buyout probably isn't cheap, but it's probably cheaper than it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'm excited for the figure out which coach is the most Googled for his buyout number. All right, the SEC Player of the Year is.
I'll do it. I'll do just Offensive Player of the Year, not on quarterback. I will say, I think Ryan Williams could have a lot of catches and a lot of yards in that kind of offense. So, I'll go Ryan Williams.
I love it. I love it. All right. Lastly, your SEC champion is the
Texas Longhorn. SEC champions, Heisman, national champions.
Damn, the trifecta.
I just think Sark is a great. I've grown a lot on Sark over the last 2 years. His teams are always ready to go week one, and it was not a big Quinn Ewers guy. And if Arch Manning is that guy, which I think he will be, Texas has. It's something we just briefly mentioned. Now, there's not a lot of this elite quarterbacks in college football right now.
Yep.
Even Garrett Nussmeier, who's considered one of the best, he has a bunch of flaws. Arch Manning might have a lot of flaws too that we haven't seen yet. But if I will take the off chance that Arch Manning has this unbelievable season and is by far the best quarterback in the sport.
Yeah, I don't hate that. And unlike a lot of the quarterbacks in today's day and age, he's been in the same system for 3 years. And
yeah,
that's
something that Peyton Manning talked about on McAfee's show a couple weeks ago, and I thought it was the nail on the head. Is you've seen so many quarterbacks bounce around system to system. He has been same head coach, same offensive coordinator. He has been sitting there like a sponge, learning and absorbing everything from tons of NFL players around him. And his two uncles are Hall of Famers who won 4 Super Bowls combined, and his dad was this all-time great high school football receiver. And his grandfather is literally an NFL legend. So
and
I have every reason to believe that this guy is going to be good. And I said it earlier, the easiest answer is sometimes or most times the simplest answer. Arch Manning is going to be good.
I love it. All right. Let's do quick over-unders. I'm going to give the team. I'm going to give the win total. You are going to give over or under, and we're going to keep it moving. And then if you have any bets on the SEC, we'll hit those at the end. So it's just going to be a quick one word, fire it off, and then at the end we'll talk through actual legitimate bets because obviously we're not placing bets on every win total in the conference. We could, but we're not going to because we bet responsibly. That being said, Alabama 9.5
over.
Love it. Georgia 9.5
over.
Texas 9.5
over.
All 3 of those teams make the college football playoff?
Yes.
Love it. LSU 8.5
over, but more hesitated. I'm not going to go over for every team. I'm just
I
have to choose one.
The people are saying. Well, let's start with Ole Miss 8.5
under.
There we go. We needed an under. Tennessee 8.5.
Under.
Love that. Auburn 7.5.
Under.
I agree. Florida 7.5.
Under.
Ooh. All that talk we did about DJ Lagway.
I know.
Missouri 7.5.
Over.
Love it. South Carolina 7.5.
Over.
Yeah. Texas A&M 7.5.
Under.
I think they end right at 7. I think they're at 7.5.
Me too.
Oklahoma 6.5.
Over.
Arkansas 5.5.
Under.
Kentucky 4.5.
Over.
Vanderbilt.
I'll put a little more respect on Mark Stoops' name.
Kentucky 4. I don't hate that. Vanderbilt 4.5.
Over. Come on.
And then Mississippi State 3.5.
3 is under. 3 is the most likely outcome. Their roster still isn't very good.
I agree. Brutal. That would be 0-8 in conference play, which is not what you want. Well, likely. So, do you have any bets this college football season? It can be SEC. If you want to branch outside of that, by all means. But start with the SEC first. Do you have any bets that you love, whether it's win totals, Heisman's, if it's Bolitnikoff, whatever fits your fancy? Give me a Harrison Vapnek lock.
So I bet Arch Manning to win the Heisman 9-1. That's certainly not a lock, but I highly suggest anyone to bet Texas at what the number is now before what it is at kickoff of week 1. At kickoff week 1, it could be close to a pick 'em. I bet at 3.5 earlier in the summer. It's already down to 2.
Wow.
In some places. So I get on Texas as an underdog. No coach in the country is better at getting their team ready for week 1 or the biggest early season game than Steve Sarkisian. Last year, they played a perfect game on the road against Michigan in their first real game of the season. They won on the road against Nick Saban Alabama the year before. The year before that, they played Nick Saban Alabama at home, and their 2 quarterbacks got hurt. And they had I forget who they turned. Ewers got hurt, and Hudson Card came in, and Card got banged up, and somehow they still almost beat Bryce Young, Alabama. So I'm really high on Texas early in the year in one of those games. I don't have a ton about SEC bets. I have some random ones. I have Louisville under 8.5 that I like. Southern Miss over 4.5. They bring the Marshall coach over.
So fucking hard.
I just think they're good.
They brought the Marshall coach. They brought half the Marshall roster.
Team. Yeah.
And
so that team win.
They won that conference last year.
People are like, "Oh, Southern Miss was so bad last year." I'm like, "Those players are all gone."
Yeah, it's they're returning production. Because I use returning production not as a if you're returning a lot of production, that's good, or if you're not. I use it as if you return a majority of that team, the odds of you being a similar team to last year is roughly the same. Southern Miss returns nobody, which is good. That's what you want.
It's a juice number about Alabama to make the playoffs. It's minus 180. It's hard. Maybe find something to parlay it with, like Bama make the playoffs, or the Kansas City Chiefs make the playoffs and get that at near even money. That's something I like.
Joe Burrow MVP.
Okay. Maybe. That's really it. I don't have a ton. I still need to do a little bit more. I'm gonna look at some other Mizzou over 6.5 wins at minus 152. Didn't you say it was 7.5?
It was. I have it at 7.5, but it could have moved.
It's minus 150 for over 6.5. That team's better than 6-6. I might invest into that now that I'm looking at it. But yeah, I mean, when I make more bets, I will let you know. It's still early. I think week 0, the day we're recording this, is 1 month from today.
Yeah.
Wow, it is coming. It is coming.
We're so close.
What is the one college football game that you were looking forward to most this upcoming season?
It's tough.
Only pick one.
There's a lot of college football games that I think are very, very, very fun from a national perspective. There are ones that I'm excited for as a Notre Dame fan that I think could be great. That being said, one game that I am more looking forward to than any other game, I don't want to say Texas because I feel like it's a chalk answer, but Texas is going to be so good this year. And then they go on the road at Georgia. And you have to beat Kirby Smart, who you couldn't do 2 consecutive times last year. Yep. You couldn't get it done the first time. You had a shot to win the conference, get a bye in the college football playoff. You couldn't do it again. Now you have to go back to Atlanta, the ground in which you could not walk on, and you have to go and you have to beat Georgia in Athens. I love that game. I'm super excited for it. I think both teams have a chance to be undefeated going into that game. I think it's going to be obviously there are a ton of week 1 matchups, quite frankly, that you could pick.
Yeah, like Ohio State.
Ohio State. I just don't. The reason that I don't like picking, I love non-conference games. Don't get me wrong. We need to play more great non-conference games. But week 1, it doesn't feel as impactful as a game. That Texas-Georgia game, that's November 15th. You know what I mean? Like that could make or break a season at that point.
Yeah.
Like that could make or break a Heisman campaign at that point, right? Like that's the magnitude of it is just so much bigger the closer you get to the postseason.
I think mine's a selfish answer. Week 3, I'll be there. Florida at LSU. The first real home game for the season. They play like Southern Louisiana the week before, Southeastern Louisiana. That will be Florida. It's a rivalry. It's a night game. The stadium's going to be buzzing all day long for the late kickoff. ABC primetime, DJ Lagway and the Gators. Especially if LSU could beat Clemson week 1, that's going to be just an electric atmosphere. And I mean, I said it to you before the show, but there truly is no place in the world like Tiger Stadium on a Saturday night. You hear it, and then you experience it, and it is just something different.
I cannot wait. Well,
I'll get chills when they're singing "Calling Baton Rouge" right before kickoff. Best tradition in college, best tradition in the SEC. It's a bold take, but I will back it up.
I don't hate that. That is a bold take, but I like it. Harrison, let the people know where they can follow you, because obviously we talked about all this content. You're going to all these games and you're doing all these things. People got to see it. Where should the people be following you?
Follow me on X at Harrison Vapnek. That's HARRISON VAPNEK. I'm the sports director at KLB TV in Alexandria here in Louisiana. We do a lot of really great stories with college and high school athletes. So not more than just college football content. We have a lot on our page, and that's where you can find me at.
Hey, love to see it. It will be linked in the description below. Go check out Harrison's stuff. Huge friend of the program. We've been doing this
Thank you for having me.
A while now, man, and it just gets better every time. So
every year, it's a tradition.
Absolutely. All right, we appreciate y'all. Make sure to like and subscribe. Do all those things. Be a friend. Tell a friend, and we will see you in the next one.